Hello friends, today we are going to see scheduling policies and problems on the scheduling policies. Okay, so we all know that we are having four basic scheduling policies. First come, first serve. In first come, first serve, the process that requires the CPU first is allocated the CPU first. Okay, so the process which comes first, it gets served first. Then second scheduling policy is shortage of first. Okay, so here we make some priority criteria, that is the time required by the process. Okay, so with each process we consider the length of its next CPU burst required. Okay, so how much time the process will acquire or use our CPU time, so that we consider, and using these lengths we schedule the processes which are having the shortest time. Okay, so the process which requires shortest CPU time will get served first. Then third scheduling policy is priority scheduling. In priority scheduling we use one priority value, that is an integer number that is associated with each process. Okay, and CPU is allocated to the process, that process only which is having highest priority. Okay, so the important one processes will get served first. Then next one is a round robin scheduling. So here we use one time quantum. Okay, when we use one term, that is a time quantum, and we allow each process to use this small unit of CPU time that is equals to the time quantum. Either the process will complete within that time quantum, or after completion of this time quantum we just preempt the process and allot our process to next process. Allot our CPU to the next process. So first we will see, today we will see the problem on first come first serve scheduling algorithm. Okay, so here I am having this problem. In this scenario you can see that here we are having 5 processes and we are assuming that all are arrived at time 0. Okay, all arrived in the system at time 0, and these are their respective burst time. Burst time means CPU time required by the processes. Okay, so this is our processes and their required time. This is our data. So first what we have to do, first step is we have to draw the Gantt chart. Okay, and what is there in the Gantt chart? In Gantt chart, on this horizontal line we will plot the time, and how much time required by the process we will plot here. Okay, it is nothing but the graphical diagram of how the processes will going to execute in our system. So first we will draw the Gantt chart. As we are assumed that all the processes are arrived at time 0. So now at time 0 all the processes are here in the system and they have arrived in this sequence. Okay, and what is our criteria in first come first serve? We serve the process first which have arrived first. So first we will pick P1. Okay, and we will start executing. So at time 0 P1 will start executing, and as it is non-preemptive algorithm, so until and unless it finishes it will not release the CPU. So its burst time is 5 milliseconds. So P1 will execute till 5 milliseconds. Okay, so after 5 milliseconds CPU will take next process, that is P2, and it requires 24 milliseconds. So we will start executing P2. So from 5 plus 24, that is 29. At time 29 P2 will finish its execution. Then we will pick P3 as it is the next process which have come in the system. So we will start executing P3. It requires 16 milliseconds, sorry. So 29 plus 16, 45. At time 45, P3 will finish its execution. Then we will pick P4 and P5. Okay, and in this way, at time after 58 milliseconds, all of our 5 processes have finished their execution. So this is our Gantt chart. Now we have to find out 3 things here. First, average waiting time, average turnaround time, and throughput. Okay, so one by one we will find it. First we will find average waiting time. Okay, so average waiting time, for calculating average waiting time, first we have to calculate waiting time of each process, and then we have to divide total time divided by number of processes. Okay, so the formula of waiting time is starting time minus arrival time. Okay, so waiting time is nothing but the time which process spends insisting for waiting to get the CPU. Okay, so whenever it arrive and the gap whenever it actually starts, the time period between that, it is nothing but waiting time. So waiting time is, the formula is starting time minus arrival time. Okay, so we will calculate waiting time for each processes. So first P1. So what is the starting time of P1? P1 have started, see here in this junction, P1 have started at time 0. So starting time is 0. Okay, and what is the arrival time of P1? P1 have arrived at time 0. So waiting time of P1 is 0. Then P2. So see here, what is the starting time of P2? Starting time of P2 is 5. Okay, so 5 minus what is the arrival time of P2? Arrival time is 0. So 5 minus 0 is 5. Then P3, starting time of P3 is 29 minus arrival time of P3 is 0. So it is 29 milliseconds. 29 milliseconds. Then we will find for P4. So starting time of P4 is 45. Arrival time of P4 is 0. So it is 45 milliseconds. And I am writing down here for P5. Starting time is 55 and arrival time is 0. So it is 55 milliseconds. Now here we have find out waiting times of all the processes. Now we will calculate average waiting time. And what is the formula of average waiting time? Waiting time of all the processes divided by total number of processes. So first we have to calculate waiting time of all the processes. So total waiting time of all the processes will be, so we'll directly calculate over here. So average waiting time is equals to waiting time of all the processes. So process P1 is 0, process P2 is 5, process P3 29 plus 45 plus 55. So we calculate the waiting time of all the processes divided by how many processes are there? 5 processes. So divided by 5. Okay, so this calculation, after calculating it, it comes 25 milliseconds. Okay, so average waiting time of all the processes here is 25 milliseconds. Then next we have to calculate turnaround time, average turnaround time. Okay, so for calculating average turnaround time, we have to first calculate the waiting time of all the processes, and then then we will find the average turnaround time. So the same figure is here, and the Gantt chart, same Gantt chart we are having over here. Okay, so the formula of turnaround time is waiting time in a ready queue plus executing time plus waiting time in the waiting queue for IO devices. Okay, so turnaround time is nothing but the total time process spent in the system. Okay, so obviously it is a sum of waiting times and executing time. Okay, so waiting time can be in the ready queue or it can be for any IO devices and plus executing time. Okay, so this is the formula of turnaround time. So we will calculate turnaround time of each processes. So here I have already calculated. So first we will calculate for P1. So waiting time in the ready queue is 0. So it have arrived at 0 and it have executed at 0 time. So waiting time is 0 plus what is execution time? Execution time is nothing but the burst time. It is nothing but the burst time. Okay, or CPU time required. So this burst time is 5 given here. So plus 5 plus waiting time for IO queue. So no process is waiting for any IO here as it is non-preemptive algorithm. So we will put it 0 here. Okay, so total time is 5 milliseconds. Then we will calculate for P2. Now here first we will write waiting time of P2. Waiting time is 5. Okay, so it have arrived for at time 0 and it has started at time 5. So waiting time is 5 plus burst time is 24 plus it is 0 waiting time for IO. So the total is 29 milliseconds. Then P3, waiting time of P3 is 29 plus burst time is 16 given here plus 0 equals to 45 milliseconds. Then for P4, waiting time here is 45. Okay, burst time is 10, waiting time is 45. At time 45 it has started and it has arrived at time 0. So waiting time is 45, burst time is 10. So 45 plus 10 plus 0, that is 55 milliseconds. Then for P5 so waiting time is 55 here and its burst time is 3. So 55 plus 3 plus 0, that is 58 milliseconds. Okay, so we have calculated turnaround time of each processes. Now we will calculate total turnaround time. So total turnaround time is 5 plus 29 plus 45 plus 55 plus 58, that is 192 milliseconds. Okay, then formula of average turnaround time is total turnaround time divided by total number of processes. So total turnaround time we have calculated here. It is 192 milliseconds divided by 5, that is equals to 38.4 milliseconds. Okay, so total turnaround time here, average turnaround time here is 38.4 milliseconds. Okay, then next we have to find out throughput. So what is meant by throughput? Throughput means number of processes executing per unit time. Okay, so number of processes or execution time of number of processes per unit time. Okay, so now here we are having total 5 processes, process P1, P2, P3, P4 and P5 and that takes 5 milliseconds, 24 milliseconds, 60, 10 milliseconds. Okay, 16 and 3 milliseconds respectively. So how we will calculate throughput? We will add the burst time of all divided by total number of processes. So here 5 turnaround throughput will be calculated like this by adding the burst time of all processes, 10 plus 3 divided by 5. Okay, so our throughput will be, after calculating it, our throughput will be 11.6 milliseconds. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? The meaning of this, it means that every process will takes 11.6 milliseconds to run. Okay, so one process execute in every 11.6 milliseconds. Okay, so in this way we have calculated waiting time, average waiting time, average turnaround time and throughput. Hope you have understood the thing.